I feel like if you position any film as the film to watch and you do it well, the Nigerian audience will watch it.
Okay, now when the conversation goes out of the studio, you know that it's a very important conversation. And for me, I'm particular about intentional film conversations I could take the industry to the next level, okay? And of course, I don't know if you know this ambience, but for those who've been here, who've been opportune to be here, because I know it's not for everybody. This is The Cube at Film House. And yeah, with that said, I'm sure you know what I have, what you don't. I have Ladun Awobokun. She's the Chief Content Officer at Film One. Amazing individual. We had a little conversation before we started, and she seems very pleasant. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for accepting to do this.
Of course.
People are always scared.
Really?
Yeah, we're like, Dami, you know, I don't want to.
Now I'm now rethinking this decision.
Well, yeah. So this is more like a conversation. I don't want it to be like an interview because it's not an interview.
Yeah.
It's a conversation, really. And I wanted to talk about Nollywood and the growth and where we are and where we possibly be in the next, few years. First off, congrats on the position.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think it's a big deal and it's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work.
And I pray that, God gives you the strength to pull through.
Amen.
And to, even do achieve greater heights.
Amen.
I could be a pastor sometimes.
Please, anytime.
My dad is a pastor, by the way.
No, for real?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Okay, now let's talk about Nollywood. When you talk about content, for me, I'm particular about stories. And I feel like to a large extent, our stories can be better. I don't know if it's me or a lot of persons share the same sentiment, but what do you think about the quality of stories we have in Nollywood at the moment, across board, not just Film One, but across board?
Quality of stories we have in Nollywood. I almost want to answer that question with the quality of stories we have in Nigeria.
Okay, Nigeria.
Because, I mean, Nollywood is, Nollywood gets a lot of backlash and a lot of people are going in, but I think it's just that we can't lie. There can be a little bit more creativity in the stories told. There can be a lot more creativity in the way that it's implemented. But I mean, just looking at this year, we're in July, and just sort of the stories that have been told this year and have been showcased, we're going in the right direction. And I think that should be the focus. The reason why I said I'd rather answer the question is the stories in Nigeria is because, oh my God, the number of stories. I think that the thing about it is, I don't even know that we even need to create anymore, because if you think about it, there's so many existing stories that haven't even come on screen. So it's almost pick which one you want to adapt and adapt. Let your creativity be in the implementation of it. There's so many existing stories that you can take this out of it or take a lot out of it and do. And those are the ones that are getting a lot of attention right now. There's a lot of stories. It's just that I feel like for a long time we've always thought that you have to create this thing out of somewhere. That is also good, but there's so many existing fantastic stories existing. And I like that people are going that direction right now. And I feel like in the next coming seasons, we're going to see an increase of that. So I think we're going in the right direction. Now let's focus on the good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd like to ask you now, you've been in this space for a while, and I really would like to know, from your perspective, what kind of stories do you think the Nigerian audience would rather watch? Because I know there's that bit, because I mean, you're making films, but you also want to make money, right?
Yes.
And so most times you're particular about the kind of films you're making because you would show that the audience wants to engage with the film in the first place. So even regardless of the stories we have in Nigeria, some persons will be like, bro, I don't want to, you already know what is going on in Nigeria, bro. So give me something. So based on your experience, what kind of stories do you think the Nigerian audience would rather engage with?
If you had asked me this question maybe like 3 years ago, I'd have said, it has to be something dramatic and it has to be drama. Or maybe if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd have said it has to be comedy.
Yeah.
And maybe if you had asked me last year, I would have said, action.
Yeah.
But, again, this year has been so telling. We've seen a diverse number of films. We've seen romantic films perform at the box office. We've seen action films perform at the box office. We've seen epic films, of course. We're going through a whole season of I feel like we're in a bubble of epic films right now, which I love, by the way. So what that means is, I really think that it's about the position. I feel like if you position any film as the film to watch and you do it well, the Nigerian audience will watch it. I don't know that everyone is so, I only like romance films. No, I feel like there's so many, number one. And folks are coming out for epic films in their numbers. They're coming out for biopics like Formula and Some Kuti in their numbers. They're coming out for All Is Fair in Love in their numbers as well. So, and those are 3 different films. Biopic, romance, epic, and they're still doing good numbers. I just think it's about the positioning. If it is positioned as, hi, I'm a filmmaker, I've done the work, and I think that you should see it, people are going to come out for it. It's more in the implementation. Now people are actually asking questions. It's not like before where people were just like, oh, this poster looks nice, and then we just go and watch the film. Now people are asking questions. People are like, why did this person show up there? What is happening here? Why is this working this way? And because of that, you now need to be careful, or actually be cautious and pay special attention in the implementation of what you're doing. What are you actually producing? What message are you trying to send? We also have regulators that are like, no, you're not going to say this story this way. You're not going to portray our country this way or our people this way, which is also a good thing. So without giving, I don't want to give a genre because at the end of the day, sometimes that can be limiting. A lot of things work. It's just how is it positioned? How was it shot? What does it look like? How is the acting? You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just to just sidetrack a bit. Congrats again on A Tribe Called Judah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, that's a big lift. But I really like to know, what did you think was responsible for that? You know, that lift, because it's amazing. And looking forward to another feat like that. But what do you think, based on you, like, what do you think was responsible? Was it the marketing? Because Funke's done a number of films. So why A Tribe Called Judah? Was it a story? Was it, what exactly would you say was responsible for that feat?
First question I thought you'd ask me was, did it really make 1.4 billion? Because everyone asks me that question. They're like, did it really, or did you guys just say it? I'm like, do you think that we just said it? Like, so don't we have to like sort of give her if we say it, don't we have to pay people the money?
There's this narrative that sometimes cinema might inflate this thing so people could come back. I mean, VOD is here now. A lot of people are going to VOD, so they might inflate it for marketing or PR purposes. So maybe that's why.
Anyways, that's all bull, but that's fine.
Okay.
So what was a few things. Number one, shout out to Miss Funke Akindele for it. She's a maestro, rightfully so, and she brought it. I think that it was really the story. Number one, I feel like with every film that sort of does well, there's something about the story that sort of captivates and people can relate to. Like if you look at some of the comments, a woman that had 5 children from 5 different tribes. You'd be surprised how common that is and how people are judged for it and not, essentially it's relatable. That's it. But then it's also the efforts that was put into marketing. Like this is somebody that already had the rankings for the highest 2 Nollywood grossing films, right? And you think that it should just sort of like be chill, it's fine. I will let the film do its work. No, she put in the work and the entire team put in the work. I don't know that there's ever been a Nigerian film that has been released that was positioned or marketed like A Tribe Called Judah. Everyone rolled their sleeves. Everything you saw it wasn't random. It was, we're going to do this because this is what we want. We're going to say this. Everything was intentional. The colors were intentional. The logo was intentional. The merch was intentional. Every single thing about the positioning of that film was intentional from the start. And when you start stuff like that from title art and how you're saying this must curve this way, this bullet must show here. When you start to think about stuff like that, it lends itself, because then not only, even the people working with you are seeing that, okay, this is not like every day. This is a different film. And then we always do something called an exhibitor showcase, the film one, especially for our Q4 films, because typically, even if we like to change that, but Q4 films are always the bigger films, right? But we go ahead and show the exhibitors what is coming out. The way that was also shown, so the exhibitors got excited about it, and obviously that showed in the showtimes, etc. And no one likes to miss out on anything. Once one thing kicks off, everyone. You had my parents that, I don't know if I probably shouldn't be saying this, but they don't really go to the cinemas, which is weird, right? But they're saying, okay, actually, I want to go and watch that film because everyone is like, what is going on? All those efforts really made it come to life. So it was the story, but it was also the production value. I don't know if you've watched it. Everything, the VFX was VFXing, the grading was grading, everything was top notch, and it showed. And then the season as well, the December season, I think for the past, I'll say since 2016, has been one that everyone just sort of knows or calls it like a film month or film period, even if you would say that other industries are doing that as well, because whether it's music, their concerts, etc. So I'll say all of that came together to create the masterpiece. And
it's something you said that stuck for me, and that's the process in the beginning of even the product, that before the production, that's marketing before production.
Yes.
The ideation around marketing the film. Shouldn't this be adopted by a number of filmmakers in Nigeria? Because if this is an example, it's worked for Funke Akindele, aside the fact that she's an amazing filmmaker, but obviously there's an intentionality in the marketing before the film even started, or the production started and post-production. I think this should be adopted because I'm of the opinion that there should always be marketing before the film starts.
100%.
Mostly because of the Nigerian audience and because of how we sort of relate with films. We're not that, it goes with our mood. Even if it's trending, we're like, well, I mean, but the buzz and everything, can this be done for a number of films?
It can.
Yeah. And has it been, money?
It's funding. It's like when people, and again, I know that it can sound like a cop-out, but it's the truth. When people would talk about, this character wasn't developed very well in a film. Do you know what goes into character development? It's not free, it's not cheap, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes people just don't have time. Sometimes it is, we need to shoot this film because a distributor has given me this date, so it needs to be ready before this date. So those sort of things stunt creativity. Again, it's not a strong enough excuse, but it really is the truth. So people have ideas to market 60 days before the film release, but when they look at their budgets, they're like, actually, let me just limit it to 30 days before, because by the time I start to pay Pulse,
we're not expensive. No?
Is that what I pay Pulse 60 days before? What's going to happen? But stuff like that is what really, because at the end of the day, talking about marketing and stuff like that, not everyone has a platform of how many millions of I don't know how many follower count is, but it's probably like over 10 million. I don't know what it is.
You're right.
Yeah. Not everyone has that. So when people that don't have that, but then have good content, have to be more creative with how they sort of use their marketing funds and stuff like that. But things are changing, and it's the reason why I will forever scream collaboration, because that's where that helps, and that's why if you look at just Film One's trajectory, it's something that we have done consistently over the years, collaborating with people, because where you're strong, I might not be, and then we just you start with where you're strong and I do what I'm strong in, another person does what they're strong in, and we all just sort of win together.
Let's talk about the process for Film One. I've seen a number of good films come out from Film One, a number of them. And I think I like that you're leading in that particular space. I mean, in distribution, in the production itself. I'd like to know the process for collaboration, or the process for selecting films to distribute. Now, do you distribute any and every film that comes to you, or do you select? And if you're selecting, what's the process for selecting? What are the factors or elements that you consider?
No, we do not distribute every film that comes to us. We do get quite a number of films. We have an in-house standard where it's almost like a checklist that we don't like to discuss, but it's a checklist where we go through certain things and it's rated. And that's how we would select a film that we're picking for distribution. But it's also based on availability, because we distribute obviously in cinemas and as well as the streamers. For a cinema film, I need to have the space. So I need to have the dates. So for instance, now I'm dated halfway. I did it for maybe about 5 or 6 months right now in 2025 already, because I already have films that either are getting produced right now or have already been produced that maybe they wanted to release this year, and I said, do you mind waiting for next year, etc. But that still changes sometimes, because some films that perhaps have gone into production now, maybe they're not ready, and then I have an availability and I'll slot it in, etc. But we have our checklist where we go through those things. I need to have the dates. I also would look at the seasons, because everyone knows public holidays. There are public holidays that I have to make sure that the public holidays have films that people want to see, because if not, you just have an empty cinema. So you pick the films based on that as well. Is this film strong enough for the public holiday, for instance? And it's been tested quite a number of times. people don't like sad films on the holidays. So if you release a film that perhaps the protagonist just dies and is a good person on a public holiday, it might not. 9 out of 10 times it won't make money. People want to be happy.
Yeah.
It's the free day, so it's something that perhaps you won't even think about. But because we've made the mistake a few times, thinking, oh no, we just put it in a public holiday, it'll make money. But it was a film that perhaps didn't really end. Like, you left really, really sad. You don't get a lot of people rewatch it, or the word of mouth isn't good, even if it was a good production. So it's stuff like that we will consider in our dating. You know, what needs to come out here? What needs to come out the week before public holiday, because you have a lot of people coming out there. Do we have space for that? And then we have partners that we know that perhaps we'll have a multi-picture deal with. We will put those in, we'll schedule. So it's based on the quality of the production, the story that it is. What message are you sending? Can we send that message at this time? Should we be sending that message at this time? Will Censors Board come at us for this story? Or what can we do? Can we use an end card? Can we, so it's stuff like that goes into deciding whether we should date or whether we should even accept all rights for the film and stuff like that. So it's not a complicated process. We will screen the film. We would give a film report on these are our thoughts on the film. We would like to acquire the rights for cinema, or like to acquire the rights for all platforms, or we won't acquire the rights because of XYZ. And sometimes I even would have follow-up meetings with the filmmakers as to why I can't take the film. Or, so pretty straightforward process.
Now, to a small extent, I feel like not all films in the cinemas make money, or make the kind of money that you would expect that it makes. What do you do in that situation? Because sometimes I go to the cinemas, I see an array of films, and people are just moving towards one particular line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going to happen to this man and this film? Who's going to see this film? And for you, I'm sure you count it as some sort of loss in some type of way. But how have you probably managed to deal with it as a business?
It's the reason why we are like champions of looking for different distribution channels, because if it doesn't work on one place, we want to go and monetize somewhere else, such that at least you break even and make a small margin on that production. And that's always the charge. The reason why we're always on the ground looking for the next thing. They're different. To be fair, they're different, but they're not. Some bigger than others, some more attractive than others because of the licensing fees that you would get. But the journey keeps going. If it is in-flight, if it is TV, if it's festival, like wherever it is that you can monetize the money, especially when it's a story that we believe in, we would look for the opportunities. There have been some stories that just haven't worked out, where we have done the search, but nothing has shown up. Hell, there's some stories that 3-4 years that's when it now, but then you've gone through this whole pain of, oh God, you guys screwed me, this, but it happens. And it's the risk in being in this industry, especially in a market like ours, where the options are not that many. But we keep going out there. We're everywhere, just trying to figure out who wants our film. What will be niche market in those cities? Who's ready to getting some Nigerian content, who likes drama, just sort of looking for opportunities, and it's getting better. We're getting noticed and moving in the right direction.
Fair enough. Now, talking about monetization and streaming, the cinema tickets can be expensive to some people.
Yes, relatively. Yes, yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it's cheap, but then to some persons, to go to the cinema to drop some money it might be like, I'd rather just do Netflix, where I could pay the same amount and get access to the film for a month.
Right.
Which a lot of people are doing. But don't you think that the advent of VOD, money is coming in from this VOD platform, but don't you think it's affecting the number of people that come to the cinema to see films?
Yes.
Sorry, mostly because, again, this film still make it
on the platform. Yes. I mean, yes, it is affecting it, but to be honest, it's affecting it the same way a restaurant is affecting the business. Because think about it, you have 20K and you want to go out. Sometimes you have to make a decision. Do I go and watch a movie, or do I just go to this restaurant and go and eat lunch? So the way I see it, it's the VOD is competing with the cinemas, but so are the restaurants. So is every other lifestyle decision that you would make. What we would like, just because at the end of the day, I would always say, something that is African, something that is Nigerian, and the cinemas are, it's our home. It's one that we can control. It's one that is ours. Is if we, look, people are still going to the cinema. I remember during COVID when it was closed for 6 months. I remember thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Jobs right after this? Is it going to open? Yeah. But somehow we have, bucked the trend and it's still going. Yeah, admission numbers are still reducing. But this year has been quite interesting. It hasn't fallen as much as the previous year. Yeah. If the cinema experience is improved, if people know that you can come to the cinema and actually enjoy being in the cinema as well as watch the film, I think that is the hack and how we can fix it. Because I cannot say that we don't appreciate the VODs coming in, the jobs that it's created, the sort of money that it has given filmmakers and film enthusiasts, and just even in structuring our ecosystem, as it were. So why not? It's a good thing, but I feel like both of them can coexist. I think that the natural trajectory is for films to go to cinemas and VOD. Okay. That's my personal preference in terms of how I feel like it should work. So I don't think that we should do without, oh no, these people have come and spoil anything. No, it is, okay, they've done something. Cinemas need to up the ante. What are you offering? What's the special thing that when people come in, do they feel a certain way? Does it smell a certain way? Do they feel like, I just need to come? Sometimes I just want to go to the cinema, not to even watch a film, just to eat popcorn in the foyer. Yeah. You need to be able to create that sort of environment, and everyone will coexist and be okay.
I think I'd like to add that there's this feeling you get from watching the film at the cinemas that you probably would not get from Netflix at home.
You actually can.
So there's this, I mean, the cinema dates they do now, you just want to go with your loved one to the cinema to just, because of the feeling, the sound, and that thing just gives you a different feeling. That's why I would keep going to the cinemas. Yeah. Me, I don't know about a lot of people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I still patronize the VOD platforms too. But then let's talk about Film One now. Right. And supporting local talents. Now, there are lots of talents in this industry. Right. The popular ones, the ones that are coming. And I want to know if there is a space or if there's some programs or, whatever to support this local talents, be it the actors, the directors, the guys involved in filmmaking generally. Yeah, 100%. And we start from even folks that are employed within the business. So if you look at just the general Film One team, green, and most of the people are young and have never worked in film before, but it's just have that interest or some passion in it. And it starts from there because you create that. Sometimes they move around and do their own thing, which is good. I can always say, okay, yeah, this is a fruit from us that we nurtured, etc. And also going into I would say back end, which is like directors, writers, etc. We do that a lot of times with new writers writing scripts, or new whether even things like PM or line producing and stuff like that. We always give those opportunities to people. Very, very recently, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, we did our first of many, which is from script to screen, where we got BB Shashere and his team to come and literally explain how Breath of Life was done, how we started. It was free, and it was targeted at film enthusiasts, people in the film industry, and it was free. And we just said, okay, and we got such good feedback from that. I was like, okay, we need to continue this. And you're going to see at least 2 more of those roll out this year. For us, it is, how can we give up? But we don't want to do it because of, like, from a PR point of view. We actually want people to actually live there thinking, oh, I didn't know this. This is what I would do in my production. It's the reason why I don't think I've ever been in an interview where I didn't speak about collaboration, because I feel like people are sitting on that. There's so much. You don't need to be a big name. You just need to pull from here. Like, but people are so like, my IP, I thought of this. No, you need to free it. You need to free it and actually let that thing scale. So it's stuff like that we would encourage at our things. It's exposure to things that you didn't originally know before. I've heard of some people say, oh, you guys are gatekeepers. Actually, if you think about it, not really. We're not. It's almost like the first mover curse. Or even if we weren't first movers, but we're very prominent in this space. So everyone says, oh, you don't want to tell us this, you don't. But it's not true. If you ask, you will get answers. There are many films that I haven't distributed that I have sort of given pointers on. And I mean, I thought that I would distribute at the time, but I didn't. And I'm like, okay, no problem, take it and go. My own come. It's really not that serious. So it's really the position that we take, and it's a position that if you meet anyone that works at Film One or Film House Group, you would see that same thing where people just want to help. Cool. Now, I mean, you're a content person, obviously, and you're into stories and the like. So I'd like to know if for instance, when I want to work in certain films, I'm particular about certain actors. This is an actor conversation, right? I always like to ask filmmakers,
Oh Lord.
what is, how do you determine, how do you pick, particularly if you're not doing auditions, how do you pick actors for certain roles? I've asked some filmmakers, some say they write with certain actors in mind, and some say, oh, they just feel like this person can do this thing. Because I feel to a large extent there's this typecasting thing that's happening in Nigeria where one person does the same thing every time and it's difficult to see the stretch. And then you'd end up saying this person is just, is a stereotype. They can't really act because he's acting the same thing. Yeah. But for you as a filmmaker and also a content person, production person, what's your process? If you was to make a film now and to pick like actors, what would be the process?
I know like there's a typecasting thing, but your body of work really just speaks for you, especially when you're not doing an auditioning. I definitely 100% believe in auditions. Oh,
because I was going to ask if you're a fan of auditions.
Oh no, I'm a fan of auditions, like open auditions. I actually don't like when people write with the person in mind, because I feel like it's limiting. And a lot of people do it, and I get it because it's also a creative process to say, no, when I'm writing this role, I've seen X person in it, this person is this, and then you are on that person. Yeah. Now everything that you're saying, even the lingo in the dialogue is that person. Yeah. I personally don't like it. I feel like you should just be creative and not have any sort of, but your body of work will speak for you. It's not easy to say when you haven't seen somebody do something and you're not auditioning. Yeah. You will now say, oh no, this person, I just feel it. This person will be great. You only know what somebody has done based on like their body of work if you're not going to audition. Yeah. But what happens sometimes is that you have a short period and you're like, I need to fill this role. I need to do this. Like, I remember being, it was on one of our films releasing, Farmer's Bride, where we had 4 days to pick a certain person because one of that cast member didn't work and we had 4 days. But then I cannot be trying somebody that I don't know has done the role before. I'm thinking, who has done this role in the film? Yeah. Who can deliver this? Who can do X, Y, Z? And that's how you're selecting. But I will always, especially right now with how it's growing and so many, like I've seen some people on YouTube, just watching YouTube that I've never heard of before. And I'm thinking, even if, again, I can hear myself still typecasting. But see some people on YouTube thinking, oh, I would love to get this person in a film. One of our films for cinemas because of how this person has delivered this product. But I am definitely like, audition as much as you can. I that's what I would say, even if, to be completely honest, doesn't happen as much as it probably should. It doesn't happen as much as it probably should. Fair
enough. Now 2 more questions before we say to wrap. Now the first is, you talked about YouTube. Yeah. Now I like to be professional and I like professionalism in everything, including filmmaking. And I feel like YouTube has made it easy for non-professionals to do whatever. I mean, now because it's been monetized also, so you don't have to know really how to make film. You just have a camera and do stuff and, just put up on YouTube. How do you think that is affecting the filmmakers world in Nigeria?
I'm a very liberal person. I think that folks should be allowed to do what they want to do. It's your platform. Yeah. It's your creativity. I don't think that anyone should tell you how to do. That's why I also like criticism. Yeah. I feel like if you're willing to do whatever it is that you like to do, then you better be ready to also allow somebody or accept somebody's thing, saying this is nonsense, this shouldn't have its day on the screen. Don't waste my time. It's because you've decided to do that. I just feel like that's, people want to take the good and say, I want to be free, I want to do this, but then you don't want to take what comes with it. I can only see it getting better. Yeah. That's the way I say it. There was a time where you see one scene, it's that time in Hollywood, you see one scene, person has one wig black, and then the next scene, it still happens. I don't know that it still happens. Look, I don't know that it still happens. I think that anywhere anyone has seen it was filmed maybe like 10 years ago, is not happening. And that is my answer. I'm sticking to it. It's not happening. Our continuity guys are on point.
Shout out to them.
Yes. So, I mean, with it, I'm not too angry at it. Sometimes I see it and I laugh. I just stop watching. No, you don't have to. It's free, right? Yeah. Well, it's your internet, but it's free. So you have the freedom to watch and not watch. And it's on YouTube. It's a different thing if you are having to cough out money to pay for it. Like the same data that you've used to pay for that, you can use it to watch something better. Fair. So I don't feel like any restrictions should be put on that, because people are also on their Instagram creating content, right? They're creating 5-10 minute vlogs and stuff like that, and folks are allowing them create. So if I have one single camera and I've decided that I'm going to shoot a series with that one single camera in my bedroom and my kitchen, I can't leave them. So I don't really. It's neither here nor there. It's what it is. Okay. That's what we're at. We're in the TikTok, YouTube age where everyone's a content creator. So
facts. Now this question just popped in. Talking about short form content. Now what's that plan for film one when it comes to short form content? Because I don't see a lot of short films at the cinemas.
Yes.
Mostly feature length. Why is that first? And is there a plan to showcase short films? Like I have a short film I want to play in the cinema. Yeah. Can I do that?
So it's not just our model. It's not our model to do short film.
Okay.
If anything, I think what we've done in the past is, I think you call them anthropologies, where you have all of them put together and put that in the cinema. It's not our model. It's not something that we have done. It's not something that we have an immediate plan for, but things are evolving. And I do see that the more it gets better, the more we would see an opportunity to sort of do that. But even internationally, I don't know of short films that sort of get cinema plays. It's more of a streamer play for stuff like that. But yeah, we don't have an immediate strategy for short content. But as it gets better, as it gets attractive, as we sort of find opportunities to display this, I'm sure we will have a strategy for it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just making the case for those that cannot afford the feature length to do a feature length film. You get me? So
collaborate with someone else so that you guys can do a feature length film.
You heard from Ladun. Collaborate with someone else. Okay. Yeah. Now let's do the last question. Critiquing in Nollywood.
Yes.
It's gonna be my last. It's always my last question. Then we'll play a game after. Then we're done. Now, what is your take on critiquing in Nollywood? Do you think it's necessary? And generally.
I think structured criticism is necessary. And
constructive.
Constructive and even structured. It cannot just be, oh my God, don't waste your money. This is an eyesore, and you can't say stuff like that. It's not okay. Yeah. But again, I'm the one that said do whatever you like, but it's not okay. Period. Yeah. But I think there's some people that have done it well, with Rotten Tomatoes, and there are other actual websites that would say we're rating this 2-star because the picture wasn't the acting, give so that people can actually go back and say, okay, the next one I'm doing, I remember this very popular filmmaker, just keep their name quiet for now, and everyone will say that their films always dragged at the beginning. And what they did was that they changed it up. They were they took that feedback in and said, and they said they actually watched the films and noticed that there was a drag. So they said, you know what, let's flip it and give bang, bang, bang in the middle. Let the middle drag a bit and end with a bang. So when you give criticism like that, people can actually work on, not, oh my God, don't do this, don't waste your money, this person, don't it's honestly, it's just vile. So I think that criticism is important. It actually is for the growth of the industry, but it has to be a structure. This is how we do it. There needs to be a standard that folks are able to see, even if you're not sharing the standard. Folks are able to see that this is how this person rates it. It's opinion now. Somebody that watches, not AI. You watched it and you saw that it's an opinion, but this is how this person rates it. But it can't stop. If not, we won't grow. We're trying to be Afrobeats, and them too, they've gotten a lot of criticism from their videos, from the sort of music that they say, from the lyrics, the beats, and look at it today. So if we're trying to get there and quickly, because we need to be quicker, we would need people to come, and that's why I love, this is what VOD has done as well, because the VOD people have now made Nollywood more acceptable. Not that you like it or not. A lot of people didn't watch Nollywood until it started to on Netflix and Prime and all the rest, and Showmax. And now you would see people that will come to a cinema, and a Nollywood film is an actual decision. It's should we or shouldn't we? And we're seeing in the numbers how it's catching up with from a market share point of view with Hollywood as well. But for that to continue, for that to be sustainable, for us to have international releases and stuff like that, we need to be criticized. But it needs to be constructive. It needs to be something that I can actually take and say, okay, I've taken that. I will do that in my next production.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for this, Ladun. Really good conversation. I can't lie. But let's play a game.
Oh gosh.
Let's relax a bit. Okay. Now I like to give you a story.
Okay.
And you just cast it for me real quick.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh Lord.
All right. Now the story is simple, right? The world is about to come to an end. and we're trying to stock up. I mean, we're just trying to stock. Well, not the world. Something is about to happen. And we're trying to stock up, like to just get food and everything in, you know. And there's a woman. That's the mother of the house. She don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right. So she's not exactly excited about stocking up.
Yeah.
Right. And there are 2 kids.
Okay.
Adults now. They're not like teenagers, right? Adults. Yeah. A male and a female. Right. So the female is about, you know, let's stock up. You know, something might happen. And the other guy is like, nah, nothing's gonna happen.
The guy is like nothing.
He's nonchalant, just like the mom. Right. So the guy and the mom are like the same persons. There's no father in the picture, and the girl is the only one, you know, who doesn't who believes something would happen. Now, if you had to cast 3 people, one a mother, a son, and a daughter, who would the mother be?
Ooh, the mother. The mother will be Tony Abraham.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that she can infuse some funny,
right,
nonchalant, some comic, because it's a serious thing, and you don't want it to, you know. And she's nonchalant about it. Yeah. It's between.
Yeah. There was the adult son.
The adult son will be Olumide Oworu. I hope I got his surname.
Interesting. Oworu, yes, correct. Olumide Oworu.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And the adult daughter, who's older?
The daughter is older.
The daughter is older because that's easier. The adult daughter, this is the person that, does she believe or doesn't believe?
She believes that something will happen. She wants to stock the house.
And she wants them to stock the house and say, adult daughter. Maybe no, I don't want to use bimbo because that's like expected. Ooh.
Now it seems like we don't have actors in
I know, right? And there's so many. Like, I'm surprised that I got the guy because I feel like Olumide would be good for that role. Female, maybe. I don't know that she can play her daughter, but no, she can't play her daughter. Sorry, just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
I need to get it right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the process now. You need to be sure. Yeah.
I would say, she's older. I want to say Bimba Ademoye. Yeah.
Bimba Ademoye, right.
I don't know if she can play her, or maybe Ife really. Yeah, but I don't know that you'll be able to get.
I know Ife,
Ife really and Olumide Oworu. There
you go. Okay. Now, if you had to give it a title, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Torn.
Turn. Torn.
Yes.
Got it.
Torn.
All right, we just made a film. Turn. Produced by Dami, directed by Ladun, casting Tony Abraham, Olumide Oworu, and Ife really. Yeah. Watching it, it's going to show the cinemas.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, right? We're not sure of the year, but
but it's coming.
It's coming. Thank you very much, Ladun, for this. It was a very good and very informative conversation, I must say. And I wish you all the best again in everything you're doing. Well done. And guys, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.